Sweet home, Santa Barbara, where the skies are so blue. Sweet home, Santa Barbara, what's worked for me can work for you.
Welcome back, friends, to Sweet Home Santa Barbara. I'm Jonathan Robinson. I'm with my co-host and friend,
Scott Williams. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, Scott. Well, today we're going to be talking about an innovative new program for preparing your house for market. I only know the name of it as the Pinnacle Program, but I don't know really anything about it. So can you tell us a little bit about, I don't know, what it's for and who benefits from it?
Well, certainly, Jonathan. This is one of those things in the process of fixing up your house. You need to have a certain amount of money. And people can be what's called house poor. They have their home, but not a lot of cash. And I come along and say, if you spend $100,000, you'll make $300,000 or $400,000 on your house, which they are very interested in, and they don't have the $100,000. That's what this program's for.
Well, how much does this actually cost the seller?
Well, it doesn't cost anything, is the short answer. But yet, yes, if you're doing $100,000 of the work, there's probably going to be a charge for about $115,000, $120,000, which we'll pay at the end when you close the escrow, and you don't come out of pocket with any money. You're not borrowing money. They don't charge interest, but they mark up the contractors to organize the whole project for you and then prepay everything.
Interesting. So it's not a loan. There's no interest. Well, what about the contractors?
Well, the contractors, they like the program because they get paid when they finish their work. Because the company, let's talk about the company just a second here, because it's a partnership between Berkshire Hathaway and a company that's called Zoom Casa, which is a nationwide company, and this is what they do. They help people fix up houses, and they upfront the money for it and get paid at the end. That's how they work. We call it the Pinnacle Program, but that company down underneath there is called Zoom Casa.
What type of services do they end up doing?
Well, just about anything that could be related to the sale of a property. They can do packing. They can mow your lawn. They can get rid of your furniture. They can paint your house and put on a roof and change the sewer line and give you a brand new kitchen. Anything from the front yard to the staging, everything in between, anything associated with the sale of a house.
That's a lot of stuff. Could you somehow use the Pinnacle Program to fix up your house and not sell it?
Well, the answer is yes, except at the end of the fix-up, then you'd have to pay Pinnacle back because they fixed up your house. So this is designed really for people who want to sell their home. Otherwise, at the end, if you don't sell your house for any reason, at the end of the program, you're going to have to pay Pinnacle.
How do you end up picking the contractors to work on your house?
Well, the contractors can be either contractors that are provided by Pinnacle, or they can be your very own contractors. They could be your family, friends, and the contractors you've known your whole life, as long as they have their licenses and they're bonded and insured, and they'll stand up to basic investigation on the internet. How do they look? Have people recommend them in the past? If somebody does some phone calling, do they stack up as a reliable contractor? If they can pass that test, any contractor can be used.
I'm wondering if you can give us an example of maybe some people you worked with and how it ended up working for them.
Yes, I recently had an excellent situation that came up. An older gentleman, he was approaching 80, bought this home originally. He was the original owner, except he'd reached the point where he was on Social Security, did not have the money to fix up his house, and he really hadn't done much with it for the last 20 years. His kids were very interested in having them move close to them, and they loved the idea of fixing up the house, but nobody in the family had any money. We needed about $135,000 worth of work done. We got the Pinnacle Program to upfront all the costs, the contractors, and do all the work. And we added about double that price, about $275,000 to the sales price of the house. So the the buyer was very happy. That extra $275,000 made a really big difference in the dad's retirement.
Wow. And it really ended up not costing them anything because it's not a loan. It's not
right. It was probably $115,000 or $120,000 of the work. It cost $135,000. Yeah, that was the cost. But the extra $275,000 was the benefit. It cost them nothing to get that extra money. It was a wonderful program to fit this situation. Perfect example.
Uh-huh. How long do people have to sell the house once they do this program?
Well, it's about 90 days, but it's extendable for another 90 days. The built into this is that you need to sell your house. Right. So if you put your home up for sale on the market, and of course, right now, in this market we're talking about right now, Jonathan, it will sell right away. But if you're in a market where it's much slower and you go through 90 days and your home doesn't sell, you probably need to make a price reduction. And the Pinnacle people are going to recommend that you do, and then go another 90 days. And if you just keep going, eventually you're going to have to figure out a way to pay Pinnacle off. Mm-hmm. This is a very rare situation. But eventually Pinnacle has to be paid.
Yeah. And what happens if the house doesn't sell?
Well, then you'll have to pay them off is the basic, what you're going to have to do, refinance, or you're going to have to bite the bullet and do what it takes to get your home sold, which sometimes can be kind of mean in a marketplace if it's going down.
Uh-huh. And what if the listing's canceled?
Same thing is true. You will have to pay them back.
Uh-huh. And what if the property is a rental?
Well, there's not a limitation that you have to be owner occupied. A rental property can be fixed up and sold for profit, the same as your personal residence. They do have a few limitations, though. They don't really go out into commercial properties. You can't use this to build a brand new home from scratch with a vacant piece of land. And if it is like retail or things like that, they won't. This is for houses.
But can you do it for, say, condos and apartments?
Yeah, condos are perfectly okay. Apartments, actually, they do cover apartments. They won't cover a commercial property, but an apartment or a condominium, they can definitely be fixed up and sold with this program.
Uh-huh. And what do you personally think of this program?
Well, there were many people along the way in my career who just simply flat did not have the money, and we really couldn't do anything for them. So this is one of the most interesting niche programs I've seen in my entire career. If it fits, it's fabulous.
Mm-hmm. And it fits for the people who would like to fix up their house, but they just don't have the cash.
That's its main. That's the main concentration of what this really is available. But I want to tell you about something that's coming along that they're adding to the program for buyers. If you're buying a fixer-upper, maybe it's your first home. The traditional, we're completely out of money, but we bought a house would be your first home. And if you buy a fixer-upper and say it needs a couple of $100,000, kitchens and baths and roofs and landscape and all that sort of stuff, or true fixer-upper, the Pinnacle program can be used to say it's $200,000 as an example, and you're buying a house for $1.5 million, but it really would be $1.7 million fixed up, and you don't have the extra $200,000. So they will fix it up. The loans, everything will be done based upon a $1.7 million sales price, even though you're only paying $1.5 million. Mm-hmm. As soon as you close escrow, the $200,000 is spent on fixing up the house, so you can move into a nice fixed up house when you didn't have the money to fix it up. This is a program from Pinnacle that's just coming, and I think that will be very valuable for the first-time homeowner who doesn't want to, they want to get their house fixed up as quick as possible, mm-hmm. There's a real group of people that fits.
Yeah. I love how you always know the latest, greatest, and innovative ways to help people. How can people get a hold of you, Scott?
Best way is to get my email, scott@scottwilliams.com, especially if this one fits for you, or maybe you know somebody, maybe you have the money, but you know somebody this would be great for. Please pass this podcast along to them.
Great idea. Ways to help your friends and family. Well, thank you, listeners, and we hope you join us next time for Sweet Home Santa Barbara.
Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to our podcast on your favorite app. If you know someone preparing to sell their home, please tell them about the podcast. Visit scottwilliams.com to contact me and download the 2 free e-booklets, Is My House Saleable Now? And How Not to Buy a Money Pit. Thank you for listening.